So you decided that you want to start world building. You start laying it all out. You've got this vision in mind. You want a certain kind of world, a certain kind of way. But my question to you all is, how much world building do we actually need? Are we going to be as simple as saying, oh yeah, this is just my homebrew world, and just leave it like that? Or are we going to go into super duper depth and be able to write a 500-page book on it? Well, let's ask some questions about what we actually need. First off, what is the adventure about? Are you making this world purely for just one adventure? Or are you making this for many adventures to come? What is the adventure about? If this is only for one adventure, then you maybe not need to expand out too far. But if you plan on running this homebrewed world time and time again, then of course you're going to have to expand on more things. It depends on what the adventure is all about. Where are you going? Who are you interacting with? Are the gods present? What are the magical items in this world? How are those influenced? Who are the movers and shakers of the world? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? Does travel matter in this world? If your adventure doesn't entail your players interacting with too many people, not going to too many places, then you don't need to world build that much. But if you do plan on making things larger and grander in scale, you're going to have to work that much more and more. What would the PCs know? Are your PCs just a bunch of peasants who don't know anything? Or are they people in high society that know quite a lot because they're well informed? Are there incredibly famous people known across the lands, or does nobody know anything about anybody? Are there former kingdoms that have been lost to the ravages of time? Did the gods leave an imprint on this world, or have they left this world entirely alone? How many countries are there in this world? How many continents are there? How many kingdoms? How much of this world is known, and how much of the world is truly mysterious? Determining what your PCs will know is a great window into the world, because your players are only going to know what the PCs know, right? How far are your players going to go in this world? This ties into the adventure in some way, but at the same time, your players may decide to try and go off the rails. How far are they going to go? Are they going to try and explore the unexplored? Are they going to try and delve into places that has never been delved into before? Are they going to try and interact with beings that have not been contacted? You have to prep as far as they are going to go. So you either one, have to build out far, or two, you have to restrict them and say, hey, this isn't part of the world that you would know. An extremely important question in all this is, how much time do you have? How much time do you have to create this world? And how much time do your players have to explore this world? If you have all the time in the world because you just love dedicating hours upon hours to expanding this world and creating documents and making maps and all that, that's fantastic. But if you don't have that time, then you need to be realistic with yourself. You do need to sit down and say, hey, I've only got this much time to prep up this little part of the world, and that's all I've got. At the same time, there is no point in prepping all of this major, crazy, weird world if your players don't have the time to explore it. If you sit down and create this novel, but then your players only have a few hours to play every week and they're more engrossed with the adventure at hand, then there really is no point to fleshing out the things that are beyond their reach. The time that we have to invest in these games is a huge factor in these games, so keep aware of that. And fifth here, how much do they want to know? If you have a group that doesn't care about exploring the world, if they don't care about the lore of the world, then do you need to care about the lore of the world? No. If your players really, really love it, then you may have to sit down and start working it out, right? If they are a group that loves delving into the unexplored, you're going to have to create that unexplored. If your players love trying to find out what's going on in this world, who are the movers and shakers of it, then you're going to have to make those movers and shakers, right? You need to discuss with your players what their wants and desires are out of the game, and then you can tailor the world to that. If your players don't care at all, they just want to go on traditional adventures, and it doesn't exactly matter what the world is, then you don't need to worry about the big things, right? Only put in as much effort as you need to. Only build a world that wants to be explored. The biggest thing for me when it comes to world building is just knowing my players. A lot of times, the world doesn't matter. It's just more about the adventure at hand. How does the world impact the adventure? That's the important part. Not about the intricacies of how the world first started and how things interact. No, just more about the mystery of things. Especially the mystery. You can always lure in a bit of mystery if you haven't completed your world building process. You can say, oh, it's a mystery. Maybe you have to go somewhere and trying to figure this out. In reality, you don't have anything, but you can save that for a later time. Many of us love to world build. Many of us love to sit down and create a world entirely of our own because it's a completely unique and fun experience. I'm here to tell you that world building does take a tremendous amount of time, especially if you want to get more and more in depth with it. But once again, only do as much effort as you need, because it would really suck if you spent so much time working on something that no one is going to actually explore. And at the same time, it would really suck for you to get a group of players that love exploring a rich, vibrant world and you haven't built anything for them. This is all about building the right kind of world and getting the right kind of players at your table. So go ahead and tell me, how much world building do you like to do? Do you like to do a ton? Do you like to do minimal? Or do you not like to world build at all? Maybe you just like using all the pre-made stuff, or you just have a kitchen sink little adventuring area and that's the end of story. When you are running adventures in a homebrew world, do you have to keep your players on a track, as it were, to make sure that they don't explore things that you haven't prepped yet? Or do you prep so much in advance that they can do anything and you're good to go? And how much time do you dedicate to your world building? I'm curious. I would love to know. Me personally, I can't really say. It's completely sporadic. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. And thank you to my amazing patrons. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you so very much. And I cannot wait to see you all in the next one.